Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to be walking through the process of filing the funding year 2023 Form 471. This video is focusing on libraries that have a multi-year contract that was established using a Form 470 from a previous funding year. So if your library did not file a Form 470 this year, but has a multi-year contract from a previous year that you're continuing to reference for the Form 471, this video is for you. First off, we're going to sign in to the E-Rate Productivity Center. First, you'll need to go to the Universal Service Administrative Company, usac.org, and sign in. I personally am signed in already, so if you are signed in, you'll first get the splash page, and you'll want to select the E-Rate Productivity Center, EPC. However, let's discuss the initial sign-in. So from usac.org, sign in, continue, enter your email address and your password. If it's been some time before, since you have changed your password, you may be prompted to update your password if it's been more than 60 days. Additionally, if you forget your password, please click on Forgot Password, enter your email username, and reset via email. You'll receive a email with a link and information on how to reset your password. And then with that new password, you'll be able to log in. If you run into any issues with logging in, please first and foremost attempt to use a different web browser. The E-Rate Productivity Center portal is optimized for Google Chrome, but you may also try a different web browser like Microsoft Edge. If you're running into issues with logging in, if you get into a quote-unquote loop, that might resolve the issue. Today, we're going to be using a training version of the EPC portal, just so that we can demonstrate what it might look like for your library to file. And once you log in to the E-Rate Productivity Center portal proper, you'll make it to My Applicant landing page. And first off, if you are returning to a draft version of the Form 471, you can find that in your tasks section. So if you have a draft version already in progress, please go to tasks and open up the task that you have available. And if you need to get back to your applicant landing page, click on Reports and My Applicant landing page. In order to create a new Form 471, click on FCC Form 471. And we'll need to enter an application nickname. Now, just for the sake of an easy nickname, you can use the name of your library. In this example, we'll just use sample library, and we'll include the funding year, 2023, and we'll include Cat 1 for Category 1. This is for Category 1 Internet Services, or you could do C1, or you could do something like Internet, whatever makes it easiest for you to identify. go ahead and save and continue. So we're starting with information here. Consultant information, you should have E-Rate Central under that section. For contact information, yes, you are the main contact person. And while your name may not be Super Cool Librarian, your name, email address, and phone number should be there. Under holiday/summer contact information, please include the LCT email address, and that's lct@e-ratecentral.com. If you need to reach out to us with any questions, this is the email that you should reach out to us at. And by including it here, if for some reason you're not reachable at your email address, then those that are reviewing the Form 471 can instead reach out to the LCT email there so that we can help you address those questions. When you're ready, click on Save and Continue. Here, we're going to select the category of service. The Texas State Libraries and Archives Commission currently contracts with E-Rate Central for the Libraries Connecting Texas program for Category 1 services only. And we're going to select Category 1. You'll see that it grays out the Category 2 section. If you did file a Form 470 for Category 2 services, including internal connections, which covers equipment for the distribution of internet, broadband internet internal to your library, basic maintenance of internal connections, and or manage internal broadband services, then you would instead select Category 2. But for this video and for this example, Category 1, data transmission and or internet access. Click on Save and Continue when you're ready. This page is going to review entity information. This is for an independent public library. This specific example is, and many of our LCT libraries are independent public libraries. So this is going to be pertaining to that library specifically. It's going to review the rural or urban status of the library, the total square footage, the associated school district, library attributes, and annexes if the library has any. If your library is a library system and has multiple branches within it, then this information is going to be pertaining to the entire system. Save and continue when you're ready. On this page, we have related entity/entities information. There are no related entities for your organization. This is for an independent public library. So if you only have the one entity, you will not have related entities. But if you are working with a library system, this will list off the different library branches that are part of that library system. And if you have a library system, review this information and check if everything looks good. When you're ready, save and continue. On this page, we'll be reviewing the requested discount calculation. The requested discount is based off of information from the school district that is associated with the library, and also the library's urban and rural status. So on that previous page, when it referred to the associated school district, it is pulling this information from that and the rural status. Using those, the NSLP percentage and the rural/urban status, the Category 1 discount rate and Category 2 discount rates are calculated based on an existing matrix for that. When you're ready, save and continue. This is the page for all of the library's funding requests. You will need to create a funding request for each respective service that the library is receiving. If you're only receiving the one internet circuit, then you can click on Add FRN. Or if you're only receiving service from one service provider, you can just add one FRN. Please enter a funding request nickname here. This is going to be the name for the FRN, the funding request number. You can enter something as simple as Internet 2023 or Internet 2023 to 2024. This is solely for the funding year 2023. You could also enter the service provider name. We're just going to use a sample service provider name here. But depending on who the name of your on what the name of your service provider is, you could enter that here as well. Is this funding request a continuation of an FRN from a previous funding year? Because this example and this video is discussing multi-year contracts, you will want to select yes. And because you have a multi-year contract that was procured under a previous year's Form 470, you are going to have a previous year FRN number because you had referenced the contract on a FRN number from a previous year. In this case, I have a sample number, but for you will want to check your funding year 2023 Form 471 or funding commitment decision letter information to find the FRN number associated with your services. And the really handy thing about having the multi-year contract and having the previous year FRN number is that you can then copy the information from that previous year FRN number by clicking on Copy FRN. And you can take that FRN number that you have from the previous funding year and search by it. And click on Search. And that is going to bring up the information about that FRN. And you click on that box and continue. If you continue, FRN data will copy and may take up to 1 minute to complete. If you wish to continue, yes. So it is taking the FRN number that you entered there and taking all the information that you entered on that previous Form 471 specific to that FRN and is creating a new FRN for this funding year instead of having to key all that information manually again this year. And the FRN has been successfully copied. So you can click on Continue when you're ready. And you'll see now that because that information was copied over from the FRN number, the drop down here is grayed out because the decision has already been made there, and you can click on Continue. And again, a selection has already been made here for contract because you have a multi-year contract. When you're ready, click on Continue. And here we have the information about the contract, a summary of that. It shows the establishing FCC Form 470 number, the service provider associated with the contract record, whether there's voluntary extensions, the award dates, remaining voluntary extensions left, the expiration date, if all voluntary extensions are applied, and then a total remaining contract length, 36 months. So in this particular example, one of the voluntary extensions has been applied for the funding year 2023. The voluntary extension system, that is going to be something specific to your library. If you have voluntary extensions available, you can apply them, but you'll need to ask them to be applied prior to filing the Form 471. If you're in the normal length of your contract, not including any extensions, then you can just continue as normal. What is the service start date? Now, because you're in a multi-year contract and because your services should already be in effect, most likely they'll continue uninterrupted in your contract through the upcoming funding year. So we will want to select the first date of the 2023 funding year, and that is July 1st of 2023. You also have an option with this button here to select the year, month, and date. This is the service start date of the funding year and not of the contract itself. So please keep that in mind. This is specific to funding year 2023. What is the date your contract expires for the current term of the contract? This is going to be specific to your library. If you have a multi-year contract, you'll want to check when the expiration date of that contract is. In this particular case, in this sample, the contract end date is going to be June 30th of 2024. Click on Continue when you're ready. This has already been selected from the previous year. Click on Continue when you're ready. The narrative has been selected from the previous year. 1 gigabit per second direct circuit to sample library. And then we can save and add / manage FRN line items. And although we've copied all the information for line items over from the previous year, we now have a chance to review the line items for this year and make sure that there's no changes since last year. And this is the section where it will be important for you to have a copy of a recent internet bill, because you can take a look at that and you can reference that internet bill for the appropriate request to make on this FRN and on this Form 471. If you filed in the Form 471 in a previous year based on a new contract, your bill might now reflect slightly different information for the total cost for not necessarily the service, but more specifically for the taxes and USF fees. In a lot of cases, when you initially file, you may try to accommodate for potentially having some taxes and fees, and that's allowed. But if now, as you're getting billed for these services, there are no taxes and fees that are eligible, you can simply remove them by clicking on the box for taxes and fees and remove the FRN line item. Since you're not getting charged for it, you can't seek reimbursement on what you're not getting charged for. But otherwise, we can take a look at the individual information, specific information in the individual line items. Let's check out the line item 1. Again, this is just a good opportunity to review the information inside the FRN line item. And you'll want to save and continue. Save and continue. If for some reason the eligible costs associated with your internet service is different from what it was last year, especially if it has updated, you will need to update that here. So in some cases, the service might the costs associated with it might be reduced, and you can update that here. But again, you'll need to reference your recent internet bill for that information. But assuming it stays the same, we can leave that alone. For one-time unit costs, you should likely not be seeing one-time unit costs on a year-to-year basis under a multi-year contract. So if you don't have any other installation fees or anything like that associated with a one-time cost, you can remove that from the FRN line item and then save and continue. On this page, we have a chance to manage the recipients of service for the FRN line item. This should likely not update year to year, especially for an independent public library. If you only have the one branch, the libraries being the same. If the library is the same library year to year, then there's nothing to change here. If you have a library system and if there's a case where there's a change in a circuit going from one library that closes to a new library, there might be an update here, but that is something that would be specific and more niche. Save and continue when you're ready. And then again, the taxes and fees amount listed here, this appears to be an estimate based on the total cost of the internet service when this was originally created. So check your internet bill and check to see what the taxes and fees on it are, if any, and then if you need to reduce the monthly cost on that, then you'll need to open this up and make that change here for the monthly cost for taxes and fees. And if there are no taxes and fees, again, if you do need to remove the taxes and fees line item, and on your current bill, you are not receiving charges for taxes and fees that are eligible for E-rate, you can simply remove it from the FRN by clicking on the box for the line item and clicking on Remove FRN Line Item. And when you're ready, click on Save and Continue. And now you have two choices here. You can either click on Save and Share, and that is going to save the progress that you've made so far on the application and share it to all other users that are associated with your library. And that includes our LCT team, since that is something that we ask you to do at the start of your time with the LCT team, and sometimes ask you to update with new members there. And that is going to save and share it to us, and we can then review the information on the Form 471 and let you know if there's any suggested edits or questions that we have. Or you can click on Review FCC Form 471, and that is going to create a draft version of the Form 471 in a PDF format. And that's also something that you could save and share with us at LCT, or if you need to share that with the library board or other governing body, they can review a copy of that draft as well. So let's go ahead and click on Review FCC Form 471. We definitely suggest that you do share a copy with us through either one of those methods so that we can help review it before you certify, help you make sure that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. This may take a moment before it generates the completed version. I can take 1 minute to a few minutes, depending on how busy the E-rate Productivity Center portal is. Click on refresh every 30 seconds or so, and it should show up. Here's the draft copy. If you click on this blue link, it'll download a draft copy that you can open up. You can review all the information within. And this is just all the information that was either entered as you created the Form 471 or copied over from the copying process that we did. Once you're ready to certify, you can check the box, and you'll see that it lights up this Continue to Certification button. Click on that when you're ready. And then we have 2 certifications at the top here. You'll need to check the boxes for each of those. And then under Total Funding Summary, there's a couple of things that we'll need to update here. Under Total Budgeted Amount allocated to resources not eligible for E-rate support, this is the library's budget, and this can be an approximate amount. The library's budget for things that are not internet access at the library. So the computers, software, printers, a fax machine, scanner, any technology programs or training for technology at the library. And this could just be an approximate amount. For this example, we'll use $500 Are you receiving any of the funds directly from a service provider listed on any of the FCC Forms 471 filed by this billed entity for this funding year? The answer to this should be no. Has a service provider listed on any of the FCC Forms 471 filed by this billed entity for this funding year assisted you in locating funds needed to pay your non-discounted share? Again, the answer should be no. If for any reason the answers to either of these is yes, please let us know, and we can let you know what next steps may be to help correct that. And then below that, we have a number of additional certifications that you'll need to check the boxes for before certifying. These go over a number of E-rate rules, such as the 28-day bidding period minimum for the Form 470 and the document retention. If you have any questions about these certifications, please reach out to us and we can discuss. When you're ready to certify, please click on Certify, and it will open up this pop-up box. And when you're ready to proceed, click on Yes. This is your certification confirmation, and from this page, you can access your certified Form 471 PDF. So you can print off a copy, and you should print off a copy for your records. This is going to be the page for the library's funding year 2023 Form 471. And if you scroll down, there is going to be a section for generated documents. It's going to take about another minute for the document to generate, but let's just refresh the page. And then when you scroll down, now you see that there's a original version that you can download, and you'll want to save this copy for your records, either digitally or physically or both. And this is something that you'll need to retain. Now that you have certified the Form 471, you may receive outreach from a program integrity assurance agent with the Universal Service Administrative Company, PIA. It's an inquiry that they may have about the contents of the Form 471. They may want to verify the information about the costs that are on the Form 471. So having a copy of that recent internet bill to validate that information will be useful. But again, they're just going to be trying to validate the information on the Form 471. So be aware of any emails that you're receiving from PIA agents, or do check your spam and junk folder just in case those emails get misdirected there as well. Once the PIA process is done and the application is done being reviewed, it will go through a waive ready status. And once it's in a waive ready status, after the close of the 471 window, as early as April of 2023, you may see that you receive a funding commitment decision letter that will confirm the funding commitment based on the request that you've made on this Form 471. Again, if you have any general questions, please reach out to LCT at e-ratecentral.com, and we can discuss those. We as an LCT team can help you answer those PIA inquiries as well if you have any questions about those. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.